Hello, everybody. How's it going? Ernest, you look like you're in a nice spot right there. Nice, nice.
Not a bad day. It's a good day to let the cats run around outside and stretch and get warm and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Very nice. All right. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Since you're right here with us, Ernest, you're nice and punctual. Let's check out your mix here. Let me get that happening.
Cool, man. Thanks.
Yeah. Actually, let me just test something here, just really quick, just to make sure audio is coming through. If I play this, come through for you guys? Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. I just wanted to test it with my own. Okay, here we go. This is Ernest, take 5.
Say how it came to be, how our lives became entwined. Who can say how you came to me, where the stars that night aligned? I don't know if there's destiny, I only know there's you and me, and the fates were more than kind to have.
The audio just dropped out for some reason.
Curious. Hold on. I'm not gonna experiment. I'm not sure what just happened there. Let me pull up my song again. Tell me, you can hear me right now, right? Yeah. Okay. Tell me if I mute myself, does the audio go away? So I'm gonna play this little thing again. So you can hear that now, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And now it's back. That's weird. I was muting my own microphone so that I could listen to it through the monitors. Why is nothing ever
Did you share your screen yet?
Oh no, I didn't. Thank you, Miss Katie. But you know, I did a different routing thing, but maybe that's what this is all about. Yeah. Let's try that. Access microphone. That's weird. Let's try this one more time. I'm gonna go back.
We ran through tears, generation to love, to honor you.
Now it's like a weird echo.
Okay. All right. Let me just go back to what I know works really quick. Hold on. What about right now?
Day, I pledge my love to be with.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna undo this. 1 second. Okay, this should work again, right?
With you, till the stars all fade away. what surprises lie in store? Who can say what the prizes are and what waits behind each door? I've not been blessed with second sight. I only know that this feels right, and I love forevermore. To have and to hold together through the years, in sickness and in health, through laughter and through tears, cherish and to love, to honor you each day. I pledge my love to be with you. Every day I can hardly wait to start my life with you. And every day as the time crawls by, there's little I can do. So I dream of the day the impossible comes true. That's the day when we stand side by side, hand in hand, and I get to say I do.
Wait, hold on. Change something from like just a second ago, or like from the point that I started the song again?
Yeah, I mean, it started out all right, and then all of a sudden it changed again, and it was like it sounded like it was coming from a monitor into your computer microphone to us, or something. Something changed. It started out one way, and then it went down.
I just started to put a
Volume-wise,
comment
it was
that it
weird.
sounded like it didn't sound right.
Marker it too.
This is weird. I didn't change anything, and so the fact that it changed halfway through is awesome. Because that's not supposed to happen. I'm thinking. Let me just check a setting here. Oh, that's working.
Yeah, I agreed with Ernest because I heard this song before, and after y'all had done some work with it, and it sounded really good, and that something happened, like Ernest said, something happened, something started sounding weird.
Yeah. Let's try this. Here, tell me if this sounds...
That's the day when we stand side by side, hand in hand, and I get to say I do. To have and to hold together through the years, in sickness and in health, through laughter and through tears, to cherish and to love, to honor you each day. I pledge my love to be with you till the stars all fade away. I pledge my love to be with you till the stars all fade away.
So still not great, huh? In terms of audio quality? Yeah, it just dipped again. I can hear it. What is happening?
Say
that's strange.
While you're going to kind of figure that. Well, you can't hear me anyway.
This is the time right now.
I just want to say while you're trying to figure this stuff out, Josh,
Yeah.
that I'm having to do Zoom home with School of Rock. Home does really create like lots of times, and so like I feel and it's like the most nerve-wracking thing in the world to me, like to be on the other end of a Zoom call and like have audio anomalies. So I feel your pain, and I'm here to support you.
Thank you, Mark Stone. Yeah, it is kind of awkward, right? It's kind of like you're standing on stage waiting for the power to come back up, and people are staring at you, and you're like, "Well, I can juggle for you." Yeah, this is a weird one. Like I've had, we've had audio not come through, but I've never had it like change in the middle, um, like that. I'm trying to think what
It's
it was.
just the quality changes. It's not like we can't hear it. So
No, yeah, that's almost worse. I'd almost prefer that you couldn't hear it. Then I could troubleshoot that. I don't know why quality would be bad when it's. You know what? Let me hold on. Let me do one. Let me try one other thing here. Something like this, and then. All right, if I did, we'll go back old school. Let's see, where's our this? Let's share some of that. And then if I do this again, how's this? Oh.
To hold together through the years, in sickness and in health, through laughter and through tears, cherish and to love, to honor you each day. I pledge my love to be with you. Every day I can hardly wait to start my life with you. And every day as the time crawls by, there's little I can do. So I dream of the day.
Wow, I do not know, you guys. Started strong, then dipped again. Maybe it's Zoom compression. It might be. It might be a Zoom thing. I know. I can't remember if I said this last time, but I've got a friend of a friend who actually works at Zoom, and they said since this quarantine shutdown thing with like the entire nation's school systems basically moving to Zoom, that they've just been inundated and their systems are like struggling to keep up. So maybe they're like downgrading audio to like lower the bandwidth. Zoom had an update recently. Let me just check. Or maybe it's not gonna let me. Yeah. I'm sorry about this, you guys. I don't know a workaround right now because this is pretty weird.
It's what it is. But I mean, you can at least hear it in its raw form at your end, right?
Yeah. It's So I can give notes definitely from what I'm.
Yeah, exactly. And I can ask my questions. So go ahead and give your feedback first.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think this is a huge improvement, Ernest. I think you did a really good job on this. Let me think. The kick drum is coming through more even. The drums and the snare drums are hitting more even throughout.
Yeah, that turned out to be, it wasn't a velocity thing, actually. It turned out to be that I was using two different keys for the drum, and so it's triggering a different sound. It wasn't that noticeable when I did it, but when I looked at it, I was like, and I listened very carefully, like, oh, those are the ones that are kind of cracking, and that's on this other key. And so, but the velocities were the same. So I had to just switch what the key was on there, and so it leveled it all out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and with the bass, yeah, that was velocity because it was actually a Trillion bass, not a real bass. But
oh, cool.
But yeah.
Let's see here. What was I gonna say? Did you go through and do any pitch correction on your vocals? I thought that I heard some improvement.
I pitch corrected. This is one of those scariest things for a person that sings, because when you look at it in Melodyne, it's like, oh, you were 44 cents flat. Oh, you were 12 cents sharp. Oh, you were half a step off. You completely. Oh my God! And the funny thing was that on the harmony vocals, I was almost dead on.
The harmony sounded great, I thought.
Yeah, and so I mean, I did pitch correct them, but I didn't have to do it by much.
Sure.
And but my God, it was like the lead vocal was swimming around around the pitches, so I had to fix almost every note. It took me a few hours to get through everything.
Right, and I mentioned in that video that I did for this song that I feel like country vocals are some of the hardest to tune because that's part of the style, is sliding into the note and stuff like that. The only thing that I heard that still could maybe either like didn't get pitch corrected correctly or got missed. It almost sounds like you tried pitch correcting it, and this happens to me all the time, where like I think this is the note that the singer intended and it wasn't. So it's right here in the bridge section. Let me see.
Every day I can hardly wait.
Right there on hardly, it dips in a really unnatural way. So maybe just go back and look on that hardly, and then there's one more, I thought.
To start my life with you. And every day as the time crawls by.
On the word time. Yeah, so hardly and time are the two.
That's interesting, because I thought you were going to come up with you, because the with, I mean, you could say it's kind of a Johnny Cashy with you, but I wasn't sure if that got incorrectly corrected or what happened there.
Yeah, I was kind of excusing the with because I thought it was like a Johnny Cashy thing, but just pitch wise, I think that those are the two. Let me just make sure there's not a third one.
There's little I can do. So I dream of the day the impossible comes true. That's the day.
Yeah, there's other ones that are kind of could be kept or nudged, but I thought the two that I mentioned are the two that definitely I would go back to. Let me think here. I thought there was one other little thing. Maybe
when we stand here, cherish and to love, to honor you each day. I pledge my love to be with you.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't. Yeah, I think all the other. I was trying to actually just think through when I went through the song and gave my notes. I didn't want to repeat myself or anything like that, but I think you addressed a lot of those. Everything sounds nice and smooth, and nothing's jumping out in awkward ways. So, yeah, Mark Stone loves your neighbor's yard. So,
no, it's our yard, I think, that you're seeing in the background there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Mark Stone's comment about harmonies sound bigger when they're a little bit off. I totally agree with that. When there's a little bit of that phasing happening, it does kind of like thicken up vocals. That's what chorusing's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but overall, I think really good job.
Great, thank you. Again, I mean, it took me 3 times the length of the video you left just to put in all the notes, and then it took me 6 hours to to make all the changes. So I do have some questions. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, first question. So you said at the end of your video, you said, well, this would be a good first mix and a good first pass, and you would print the mix and listen to it, and then go back and fix. So what do you mean exactly by print the mix? Because in other words, wouldn't you just listen to the mix as it is, and then go back and fix it in the session, or are you talking about essentially making stems, printing all those stems, and then importing them into a brand new session?
No. I'm saying basically do what you did. Like when I say print the mix, I'm just saying like what you did when whatever file you uploaded here to SoundCloud, I would just do that, and then basically what I was inferring was I would print the mix or bounce it down or mix it down, whatever, to an MP3, put it somewhere where I can listen to it on multiple systems, you know, as I'm driving around in my car, listen to it there in my house, whatever. Just hear it over a couple of days in a couple of different systems. See, you know, it happens to me all the time where, like, I find in my car, if I don't have my low end right, like, my car will blow out like low frequencies like nobody's business. And I'm always like, just the pro recordings, you know, if I throw on like John Mayer or whoever, their low end sounds so good in my car, but if I get mine wrong, it's just, it might sound good in my studio, but my car just does not forgive any low end errors there. So
Okay,
that's
but then,
basically what I'm saying.
but then when you make the fixes, then you do go back in and just do it
Yep.
in the session. Okay.
Yep.
And then so kind of as a follow-up to what you were just talking about listening to it in different places. So I do use the Abbey Road Studios Studio 3 to listen to it. And in previous incarnations of this thing, everything sounded pretty similar when I went from the near field to the far field monitors, according to Abbey Road. This one, it sounds very different. And I cannot figure out why, and I don't know how to fix it. It doesn't sound right to me in the far field speakers, where it sounds right in the near field. Do you have any idea why that would be, and what I would need to do to fix it? For instance, it just doesn't feel as glued together or something like that in the far field speakers. In the near field, it sounds right. Any ideas?
I actually don't. I still haven't. I need to just download, if they've got like a demo of it, to check it out. I don't really. I can't wrap my brain around like how they're modeling near the experience of sitting in a room with like near field monitors versus bigger bigger monitors that are further away. I don't understand like what. I mean, I know that everybody, you know, you can model anything. You can model like that's what reverbs are a lot of times, are like modeling what it's like to hear those reflections in a room and stuff like that. But I'm trying to figure out, basically what I'm trying to figure out is like what the what value are we trying to take away from this thing?
Well, the idea to me is that you're supposed to be able to mix it in there with that on, and then you take it off when you actually bounce the tracks. But when you're listening to it and monitoring it, it's supposed to let you get it so that you theoretically don't have to spend much time, as you said, playing it on different systems to see what they sound like in your car or on an MP3 in your headphones or whatever, because all these different speakers should give you a mix that sounds good, period. And it used to, but now for some reason in this particular incarnation of the mix, it doesn't feel as together on the far field speakers, which I'm guessing that when I put it in my car or something, it might sound strange.
Yeah, I mean that is, you know what I would. So have you listened to it in real life on multiple systems?
Not yet. I mean, I listened to it a little bit just using my earbuds with an MP3, and I've listened to it, of course, in the big speakers. And I've listened to it just through the laptop speaker. I haven't thrown it into my car yet.
Yeah, all right. So this is what I would say. Just as a side note, I also listen on earbuds and I listen on laptop speakers, but I find that like my mixes always sound awesome on those earbuds and on the laptop speakers, right? Again, because like it rolls off like 80% of the low end and you're just getting this kind of like mid highs kind of thing. And so it cuts out all of the low end mistakes that you could be making. But the thing that I listen for the things that I listen for on those earbuds are like the high end, sometimes like high end resonant frequencies can kind of sneak through I've had that happen where I can only hear like high end mistakes on earbuds because the low end is masking it.
So Katie, so you've used Abbey Road. What do you know?
Oh, Katie Norris.
Oh, is there another one? Just kidding. I didn't want to cut Josh off though. He was doing great.
Oh, thank you. Oh, go ahead. I need a break.
So with this last album I did, I sat with the producer while he used Abbey Road to kind of like do like rough mixes so that we could listen to it like that. And it worked for every single song. And then one song, it was the same singer, it was the same instrument setup, but for whatever reason, the same settings didn't work. And then we tried other settings and those didn't work. And it like there was just something off about it, and the producer agreed too, and he goes, oh, this one may, sometimes Abbey Road just doesn't quite recognize certain nuances and certain things, and so he had to do that one in particular separate. So, and he also like never suggested to use Abbey Road as like a complete crutch to not like listen to it in other devices too.
Oh yeah, so, no, I would never go that far.
Yeah. But yeah, so we had to, just that one song for whatever reason had certain nuances that you mean the automated Abbey Road. You don't mean sending it off to them, right?
Yeah, no, I mean Studio One and Abbey Road.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
software. Got it.
Abbey Road Studio One software, because theoretically or Studio 3, sorry, where you're sitting there and you're listening in the control booth of what it should sound like if you were actually sitting in Abbey Road Studio 3.
And you're picking the like out of those shapes or whatever where it says bright and jazzy. And...
No, it's not that. So this is
okay.
No, it's not like a then. No, it's not. It's not a compressor or anything like that. All it does is it models the room, and you can choose between your far field, near field, and midfield speakers, and it'll actually do, if you want it to, head tracking, where you can turn your head around and move yourself around 360 degrees, and you hear what it should sound like as you're actually moving around in the room. And it's actually specialized to the point where if you have certain sets of headphones, it'll specifically do for those headphones. So it's more specific than generic in those cases, and my headphones are in that category. So it's just a way of listening to how it should actually come out sounding in different systems.
Huh. Okay.
I'm pasting a link to it now, in case Katie, you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, that's definitely not it. But it's basically, it looks like you're sitting in front of a like the plugin itself looks like you're sitting in front of a mixing desk, and you see like different speakers sitting on top of the desk.
Yeah, it doesn't let you change anything in there. It doesn't compress anything or do anything like that. It just lets you listen to it.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing because
how are there two things called Abbey Road that adjust?
I was just about to say that. It's confusing because they have a whole Abbey Road plugin series, which are the Abbey Road compressors and EQs and stuff like that. But there's also the Abbey Road Studio, which is just them emulating the studio room mixing experience. So it is very confusing.
That's crazy. Yeah, the other one was for mixing too. Oh, that's so interesting. Okay, cool. Thanks. Now I know something new.
There you go.
Well, that is the point of Josh's classes here.
Yeah, learning something new. What was I gonna say though? Oh, something that Katie said that definitely struck a chord with me was, even though she was talking about something different, I found that I had a song recently. So I use a lot of like the isotope, the ozone, and the what's the thing that has the curve where you can neutron, but what's the tonal balance? That's what I was trying to do. Where it's got like, they analyze 1,000 recordings and say like, for pop music, this is generally the EQ curve that you want to follow, and you try and get your song to fit in there, right? I had a song recently that I got to sound like, I'm really proud of how it sounded, and I could never get it to also fit in the tonal curve recommendation. And I tried to like nudge it and make it look right for what they were recommending for that. And I even changed genres. I went from pop to like, some other things, and I could never get it to sit there. But I just ended up not trying to make it fit within the tonal balance recommendation. I was nervous about it because I was like, man, these, I'm going outside what the recommendations are, but I've listened to that mix on every system I could possibly find, and I think it sounds great on all those. So I think there are instances, Ernest, where like, and Katie, to what you were saying, like there are instances where like sometimes you just go with your ears, and if it is what you want it to be, then that's the right answer,
Okay, and also now when I use Melodyne, I'm actually shifting it by the percents. Actually, the little slider, instead of physically moving the thing around, and I'm
Okay.
just using this. But that's the same. It does the same thing, right? Basically.
Yeah. So basically, you're like selecting one blob and then going up to your slider and just doing it that way.
Yeah.
That's essentially doing the same thing.
Good. And then final question.
Yeah.
So we were talking about how consistency is super important in recording, and like the especially with virtual instruments, the velocities, so that you don't have these weird different timbres. But I'm just thinking about my next project, which is essentially like a film trailer type of thing.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with orchestral instruments, it's all about dynamics and different velocities for a staccato with an accent as opposed to a soft legato or something. And so consequently, it's going to have variance all over the place in terms of velocities. How do you, as the recording engineer, deal with that?
So that is a totally different beast, and I'm glad that you asked that. So in pop music, and I'm saying pop music as like a general like stuff that's on any radio station, particularly with drums, because that was like the thing that I was talking about. The drums are playing a specific role, and it's like as a timekeeper type thing. It's like a heartbeat that is like maintaining this theme throughout, right? With orchestral music, that's not necessarily there, right? Unless it's like a specific section where it's like, all of a sudden like it goes to this like march, and now you have this like theme happening in this short section. In that little section, like if you did have this like kind of like army march thing where it's like nice and intense in a trailer type thing, you would still want that same consistency, right? You'd still want those accents to all be consistent for that thing. But as a whole, yeah, the velocities are going to be all over the place, but there still is, you still want consistency in the ebbs and flows. You know what I mean? Like if you have something that the velocities are down low and then they're going to be staying there for a second and then building back up, you want it to still be consistent in the way that those things happen, if that makes sense. But as a mixer, yeah, honestly, I haven't mixed a lot of trailer or orchestral music, so I don't know exactly how I would tackle that. That would be an interesting thing. I don't know if I would maybe break up all of my low velocity parts and do like a submix of the quieter velocities, and then the things that are louder and hitting harder, I might break out into a separate uh, bus, that kind of thing. Yeah, does that answer your question? Did Ernest freeze on me? I think I might have lost him. He just glazed over as soon as I started talking about breaking out sub.
Yeah, he fell asleep.
Yeah, he was like, whatever, this is not what I wanted to talk about, Josh. Boring, I'm out of here. Oh, there he is. He's back. Yeah, did any of that come through, Ernest?
And maybe using their internet or something.
Oh, yeah, we're losing you, Ernest. While we're kind of in this little segue moment, if anybody had any questions that I missed or anything in the comments, sometimes I overlook some. Feel free to jump in now. I was gonna just say, reminder: we've got our Q&A with the GIK acoustics guy tomorrow. at 10 a.m. PST. Oh, now we've got 2 Ernests. So, yeah. If you want to, I know somebody here already put a question in there, which is awesome, but, just post your questions in there and I'll try and use those as the reference. Or you can just, during the call, you can put them in the comment or in the chat here and we'll try and get to those questions.
Yeah, I accidentally clicked on that link instead of this one, and that's why I was a few minutes getting elated. I kept waiting and waiting, and it never came in, and I finally looked, and it said, "Oh, it's scheduled for tomorrow."
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of calls happening this week. And then Zion is doing a streaming your DAW kind of demo workshop thing. So anybody that's interested in, there's been a lot of live streams. Different artists are doing live performances and stuff like that. So yeah, we've been getting a lot of people reaching out just asking how we're doing that. So we're just doing like a free thing just to kind of save from emailing everybody back individually, that kind of thing. So if you have an interest in that, you can jump on there. I'm also Zion's like kind of like the guru on doing that streaming stuff. I've actually never live streamed anything, but I am going to be sharing a workaround because we're all gross and we can't all be in the same room anymore. I figured out a workaround for being able to do remote recording sessions with like singers that I had scheduled. So this is really cool. I'll just go ahead and tell you now, this is part of it. Within Zoom, you can actually take control over somebody else's computer, right? I don't think that I knew that before. Or maybe I knew it and I just like disregarded it. But there's actually like, yeah, there's a thing where like, how like you guys can share your screen. There's also a little setting that says give control to the host. And so like I can control your mouse, and basically like that's what I did for one session already, where I just had my singer install Studio One on her laptop, and then we did a Zoom call and she gave me control over her thing, and I engineered the session from here while she sang, and I was able to like, stop, start, edit, do all the stuff. It was really cool. So yeah, I'm really I'm excited about that because then I never have to meet anybody ever again.
So there was no lag at all?
There was a little bit of lag at first, like in terms of like moving the mouse and stuff like that. There was a little bit of lag, but then it like caught up, and then it was like pretty instantaneous. Like I was really impressed with it. And then in terms of the interesting thing is that we also used a plugin called Listen To by Audio Movers, which is like you just put it on your master bus and it will stream a high quality audio stream to a website. And so basically this plugin, you insert it and you just say go active, and it'll give you a little URL, and you copy and paste that to me, and then I bring up a little web browser and I can hear in real time all the audio high quality, which would be awesome for times like now, but only this isn't running through a DAW. So but yeah, I've been like, yeah, so that's gonna be the little demo thing that I do for during Zion's thing. But yeah, I've been racking my brain, like looking all over the place for like a better audio solution than Zoom. It's awesome for us being able to communicate with each other, but the audio is always failing us. So I'm still on the lookout for that. Yeah, I know that we're gonna, well, man, Mark Stone, I had your song in there to check out and listen to for here, but now I'm concerned. Does anybody have any questions while I kind of think if there's another solution for this? Let me think here. I was gonna try another setup here. It's really weird that it changes, that it's fine and then it like degrades. That's the thing that is puzzling me.
I guess the energy drink wore off.
Yeah, right. Let me just try this. Maybe because I kind of did go back through. Let me think here. You guys can still hear me right now, right? My voice? Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure. I just turned something off. I wanted to make sure. Okay. Let me do this really quick. Let's share. Ernest is bringing his cat by to meet us all. All right, let me know. Anybody give me a thumbs down if the audio starts to degrade again, but maybe this might work. I'm trying something different here.
Work is over, no chance of staying sober. Let the weekend begin. One more, till it's one more. Fun with friends. Music goes up. Bodies are drawn to like moths to the flame, flying on. Light up the body.
All right, I want to hear something really quick. I'm going to go back to that first chorus.
Light up the body. Mouse to the flame, flying on. Light up the body.
All right, Mark. I think this is really cool, and I like that you balanced. Well, hold on. First, that was that any better quality wise, or did it also degrade? It was it was all right, ish. All right. I really like
it. Was weird.
It was weird.
Yeah, it was AM-ish, like a tunnel kind of vibe. But it,
Yeah, sorry about that, you guys.
Oh, good though. Whatever.
Yeah. I like this. I think I said in the comments when you shared it earlier that I like that you balanced everything out. Like the choruses and the verses are solid, or more like in balance with each other. And I love like the especially the verses, like the vibe that you have going there. It's almost like a Talking Heads kind of. It's like Talking Heads and like other, like, I think I mentioned like LCD Sound System and stuff like that. There's this like kind of like indie quirkiness kind of thing but it's also got this intensity. It's really interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think, and this is a tough one. This is like something that, if I wanted to do something like this, I think I would struggle with this. You've got two different, like pretty much two different production styles happening between your verse and your chorus, and it almost, like, for the sake of explaining this, it almost sounds like you took like one song and then another song from a different production and like are now mashing them together. Not in a bad way, but just in terms of the clarity of the mix. Like your verses are super clear, your kick and snare are punchy, and you know you can hear your vocals. But then you go to a chorus where it's a totally different drum set, and your vocals are all distorted. And so, like, basically, the challenge would be to make it sound mix wise a little bit more cohesive. Like make it like right now I feel like your choruses are, everything is a bit distorted and everything's a bit too muddy, and I think your vocals could be cool if maybe the drums also weren't so distorted. Or maybe it's like, hold on, maybe it's also like the bass guitar is distorted. Let me listen one more time. Hold on. Maybe I think it's a low end thing. I think it's when you go back and listen to this, like when you open up your session again, Mark, listen to see if the bass drum has like a long sustain to it. If it's like a doom kind of thing instead of just a doom, doom. You know what I mean? If it does, I think it's the muddiness that I'm hearing is coming from that doom of your bass drum and the bass guitar. Because it's also doing like a doom do 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 do. You know, it's like maintaining this like constant. It's not like your bass guitar is just going doom, do doom doom doom. You know what I mean? It's constantly like filling up that low end space. So I would look into that. See if there's like that kick drum is just too long. It has too long of a sustain. I'm curious, Mark. Did you try keeping the same drums from the verse and having it just go through the chorus? Like, did you mute those drums and just try having the same drums go through the chorus?
I messed around. I messed around a couple of times with a couple of different things.
Yeah.
I did try with and I tried to re-affect and alter the original drums too. Or I printed. I did all kinds of trying things with that chorus. Actually, I reprinted those, you know, because I had a MIDI map, so I could just MIDI map them and jump them off and try a variety of different things, including stacking a couple of different various kits, and I wasn't satisfied with anything other than one.
Yeah.
You know.
I could tell from the very first version of this that you sent, where I remember you had like a different sound in your intro, and then you went to a verse, and then there was like 3 different production styles happening, right? And now you've definitely streamlined it. Yeah. So yeah, I think the main reason that I was just curious, and I'm not saying that like this suggestion, you know, there's a lot of things that like we have ideas of like, oh, maybe this will solve the problem, maybe this will, and you know, sometimes they just don't work out. But I was thinking like the idea of having your verse drums play through the chorus is like maybe it would, because your verse, maybe it would kind of clean up that low end issue a little bit, because your verse drums are clean and punchy, and I thought like maybe they wouldn't interfere with that bass guitar a little bit. But you know what? Here's another idea for you, Mark, Mr. Mark Stone. I might, in one of my experimentations on this, if it was mine, I would experiment with having the same drums, your verse drums, play basically through the entire song, you know, all the verses, all the choruses, but take those distorted, dirty drums that you've got in there, the ones that are going like boom, boom, ka, boom, 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 you know, that beat, or whatever that is. Hold on, what is that beat? Yeah, that beat there. take those drums and like pan them like hard right or something like that, and have it be like this kind of like, I don't know, it might also need something on the left, but that was just like an idea. Like you could still have that rhythm, but it wouldn't be like, it wouldn't have to carry the weight of driving the entire chorus. It could just be like this like distorted guy that's, while the main like kind of like verse dance beat is still there. Yeah, I don't know. These are just things that I would play with.
Clearly, Mark is the
I
distorted.
might try that. That sounds adventurous and uncharted territory, and that's what I'm all about when I'm stuck here at home.
Yeah.
Well,
I
you
just
are
need
the
beer.
you are the distorted guy, Mark. So one thing I was thinking about, though, listening to it, you have this little synth part that's going weedy, 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 right? I was just wondering did you try using a synth that changed its timbre over time? So, you know what I'm saying? That like gradually over a few bars shifts its tone and then comes back.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like kind of filter it out. Yeah.
I have it's I can automate that synth. I thought about that. I haven't gotten to that part of my experimentation and the journey, but I think it's a great idea. Yeah, because it'll also kind of relieve. It's the same melody and the same motif, you know, multiple times. So yeah, that would also relieve a little stress and from that being constant.
Yeah. And then one other final idea on this is just something to play with. Again, I'm not sure that this would be the right thing. I don't know, it could be, but on the vocal, hold on. Okay, so there's a lot of space in between your vocal hooks. I think that vocal hook is catchy, that light up the party, right? But it only happens like twice in the entire, like, you know, your chorus is like 20 seconds long and it only happens twice. I want to hear something more, right? So I was thinking like you could have it happen more, you know, twice as often, and or it might be interesting to play with delay on this. So the light up the party, 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 you know, like some kind of like delayed echo kind of thing just on that last word could kind of satiate my desire to hear more Mark Stone in those choruses. Yeah. But those are just like some ideas that I would play with if I, you know, if it was mine, if this was my baby.
Just think, you're already getting a production credit. Just think of how far we've come, Josh, in a year.
Right.
There was only one vocal that you could hear. You could hear throughout most of the production.
Yeah.
And there's only 2 or 3 other vocal tracks the entire song.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm just saying, we've come a long way, you and I.
We really have, haven't we? We'll have to look up when our anniversary is. We'll have to celebrate this.
And Josh is using those big words like satiate.
Oh, that's just because I'm hungry. I'm seeing Katie eat in front of me and words like satiate come out. Does anybody else have any topics that we want to cover? I'm really sorry. I'm going to work on this audio thing. I mean, hopefully this is just a Zoom bug. Maybe the update will help it, but I'll try and work on this for next time.
Hey, no worries. We're a big forgiving group here. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
We couldn't do any better.
We'll get it worked out.
Hey, Josh, I want to hear your philosophy or theory as to, you know, why you would create a bus for the room effect and that one thing, you know, like, and I was saying you wouldn't put that on a master.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So the problem generally, I've heard of like famous recordings, like sometimes they've done that kind of thing where they'll put an effect on the entire master kind of thing. I think generally like you don't you wouldn't want to do that as like a regular practice, because reverbs and delays can just muddy up a mix, you know. But again, it really depends. I don't do it. I haven't done it in years, but I have done it on songs, like maybe if it was like an acoustic vocal thing and it was really had a lot of space to it, you know, and I would put like a reverb on a vocal and put the reverb on the acoustic guitar, and I still just felt like they just felt like two different. It felt like, you know, a vocal with a reverb, and it felt like an acoustic guitar with a reverb, and I could never really make them feel like they were in the same room. And maybe it's because they never were in the same room, and it's like that kind of thing. That might be the instance where I would try putting a reverb on the master bus, like where like the vocal and the guitar are going to that master bus, and I would put a reverb on both of those and see, maybe instead of reverbing them each individually, I would take off those effects and just try sending them to one point and then put the reverb there and let both those things reverberate as if they were in the same room, right? Because the reverb kind of, I think of those as like, oh, you're putting those sounds in a room and letting those frequencies bounce around. But I don't think, with that said, I still don't think that I would do it on the master bus. I would just send those things to another spot before it gets to the master. Just because it's kind of nice, like knowing when it comes time to like troubleshooting a mix, like we always get to a certain point where like, you know, we hit the bridge and all of a sudden nothing sounds good anymore. It's nice to kind of know that like when it comes time to troubleshoot it, that it's not like, oh, I have like 3 reverbs on a vocal over here and another reverb here, and I've got a reverb on my master bus, you know, like you're trying to like track down what's causing these issues, right? It's kind of nice just to know that like your master bus is a clean place that is just there for like EQ, compression, you know, non generally things that aren't going to add muddiness and cause issues. I don't know. That's kind of my philosophy on it.
Oh, I just remembered I did have one more question.
Yeah.
This is kind of a Pro Tools-y question, which is that so when I created the auxiliary bus to run the drum kit through, you know, so it was a brand new track, but for some reason when I was trying to mix things, it wouldn't let me really move the fader, or I would move it and then it would move it back to where it was.
Yeah.
Why does it do that? Whereas it didn't do that with the guitars. I don't get it.
Sometimes, so what that is like if you make that bus, so if you make any instrument bus and you send those there, the default channel that you see like in your timeline is a volume automation. So you see the volume line, right? And I'm betting $1 million that I don't have that you've accidentally just clicked a little automation point on that line. And you might not have moved the volume, you might not have actually automated, but you just put an automation point, and that tells Pro Tools that Ernest wants automation here, so we're going to lock in this volume right where he wanted it. And that's what that is. So that just means that just go through and look for any little automation points that you've got and just delete them all, and then you should be able to move your fader.
Okay, and now here's a really rookie question,
Yeah.
which is that in the past when I've had an automation on something, accidentally or not, I couldn't figure out how to get rid of that point. Like if I try clicking on it, I don't know how to make it go away.
So it's either, you know how like when you mouse over an automation point, it turns to the hand, right? It should, if it doesn't, either hold down Control or Option. I can't remember which one it is. It's either, I can't remember from memory, but I think it's Option it'll take that hand and turn it to a minus, and it will delete that. The other thing is if you know that you want to get rid of like a bunch of automation all at once, just do the, I forget what that tool is called, but there's one that will let you just like kind of like highlight an entire track, and then you can
one that looks like a waveform.
I was thinking I thought it looked more like a cursor in.
Okay, that one. Yeah.
That one. Yeah. That one should just let you highlight a bunch of them, and then you can just hit delete and it'll delete them. Those are the two. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, Ernest, that question sort of answers one I had. I was actually not intelligent enough to ask it, but sometime back, weeks ago, I had something like that happen, and I bet, because I was really new to automation and didn't really know what I was doing, I bet I left some of those little clicks or one or more of them. And so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Good, we're a supportive community, you know.
Yeah, it's really easy to do that. There's times where, yeah, like you've got 2 tracks and you've got that one down there, and if you, like, for instance, if you're trying to like resize a track, you know, to make it wider, if you don't like hit like right on the right point to like drag your track down, it'll actually think that you're trying to click automation on the track below it if you miss, you know, those kind of things. And yeah, it's really easy to accidentally hit those, make little automation points even when you don't want to. So yeah, that happens to me all the time. The most frustrating thing is when you're trying to work fast, you know, and you're like, okay, I want to like just lower that fader, and then you're like automatically moved on, and then you realize that fader never moved down because it moved back up because of that, and then you're like, you're wondering about all the other things that you've done that never got implemented because Pro Tools had other ideas.
Yeah, sometimes working fast is a problem. Like the time I posted something, and then after I clicked on it to listen to it, it was not even the right song.
Yeah, that I've been there too. Yeah. Yeah, Mark J said it's the option button for getting rid of that. Nice. Yeah. Oh, the times we live in, uploading wrong songs. All right. Anybody else got anything? This was a good chat. I feel like I learned, you guys learned. We are better people than we were.
If only Zoom could learn.
I know. I'm going to work. Me and Zoom are going to have a stern talking to, a heart to heart.
If it's any consolation, sometimes the quality of the video, at least I'm watching on my phone, but it's dipped lower than I've seen it ever dip before, the quality.
Interesting.
So it may not be you.
Yeah, I've got a little internet checker here, and it says my internet's should be rocking and rolling.
It's everybody.
Oh, it's everybody.
Yeah.
So it doesn't just hate me.
So
No.
it might or might not be us, huh?
Yeah, it might not be us at all. Yeah. All right. Well, cool. Let's hop off here. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate you guys. And I will see you hopefully tomorrow for the Q&A. That'd be cool to see some people there. All right. Cool, guys. I'll see you later.